Either.
Yo, what up, West Coast? I'm here today on WCS Exclusive Interview Podcast. Man, I got somebody special here today. My name is Don Dubb, and I got my man Justified here. Justified, you there?
Yes, sir. West Coasting in the building, big bro.
Yeah, man. You know, we had a couple technical difficulties, but we figured it out, and we're gonna go with what we got, man. Appreciate you taking the time out to join, though, brother. You know, and I'm gonna just lay it out. In my opinion, man, you know, you're a hustler. You've been in the game for well over 20 years, but you're still youthful in terms of your mentality and your passion. Um, Musically, you've made a contribution that's respected and known throughout the region. Um, how do you keep going, man? How do you get the inspiration to keep going, brother?
First of all, it's something that I love. You know what I mean? And when you love something, it's not hard to to continue doing it. Um, it's about new challenges and growth. You know what I mean? And always trying to stay fresh without changing up morals and ethics. You know what I mean?
I dig that. I dig that. I dig that. Now, but you're a bit little more than just an artist. To be honest with you, man, and we're gonna get into that. First of all, your name is Justified, but where you from, man?
You know what I'm saying? I like to let folks know, I grew up in that hub city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
Majority of my life Inland Empire though, you know what I mean? More years out of Compton and in Compton, but Compton is one of those places that when you experience it at the age that I did, um, it gets in you, not on you. You know what I mean? So Compton is in me, and I represent it not for the namesake, but it's just the facts, of
Right.
where I picked up this rap game at, where I picked up my hustle. You know what I'm saying? Every fiber of who I become has been influenced by that experience. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in Compton.
Right. Um, to speaking about music, man, in 2020, you dropped that album, 2020 Vision, which I had the honor and pleasure of doing a track with you on there, man. It was a special moment. I really appreciated that time. It was a dope song. But I want to talk about the whole album, man, because I know there was a bigger purpose to it. I want you kind of go into what was on the album and let people know where they can get it from and kind of just talk about that project, bro.
Yeah, the 2020 Vision. You can only order it on fathersandhiphop.com to get the album in its entirety. It's a couple singles out there, including the one you blessed me with. The Wait for It.
Mhm.
That's out there on all the digital streams. But
Yeah,
it was a record that I just kind of wanted to um, really put out that fathers and hip hop type mentality.
right.
Music that reflected the thoughts and the lifestyle of a father without being, corny and watered down, but still keeping it real, but just hitting subject areas true to life, mature content. And it wasn't so much a record to make you party, but a record to just make you understand, where I was coming from, you know, being a father to just being a man in the streets to relationships, you know what I'm saying? There's Jordan
Right.
on there that explored my relationship,
Right.
um, and it was just a diary log of my life, and it was the 2020 vision. It was what 2020 was showing me,
Mhm.
and how I needed to take what I was seeing to get where I was going.
Yeah, I dig that. I dig that. Um, like, how'd you get into music, though? I mean, like I said, you more than an artist. You do a lot of things, and we're gonna talk about them today. But how'd you get into music, man? How'd you find out that rapping was your thing, or just being involved with the industry is your thing?
I think it was that Compton influence, and going outside, and the homies, everybody rapping, and you MC this, and you know what I'm saying, and started off just freestyling, in the circle with the homies, and you know, finding out that hey, I'm pretty good at this, and then having the passion to write. That's where I really shine was in my writing,
About
to
that
where
too.
the
Yeah.
homies would be like, write me a verse, write my verse. We'd be out there on the karaoke machine,
Right.
swapping tapes, recording one and then switching it over and playing it again.
Right. It's double deck joint. Yeah. It's
So
true.
it all developed in the garage, karaoke rapping, and um, it was something that God continued putting opportunities in my path to get closer to it. Uh, I think my biggest life changing moment that gave me the reality that this is something that I do, was I want to say I was about 16 and I was running away from home, and I ended up out in San Francisco. I caught the Greyhound, all the way to San Francisco, trying to get away from the thumb of my father
Right.
and the strictness of his home. You know what I mean? And finding myself in a little bit of trouble out there, I called back home, let my mom know where I was at, and she had some relatives who were also my relatives that came and opened up their door to me, and it's just so happened that they had a full recording studio, at their home. My uncle, excuse me, late great blues legend Chuck Edwards, he had the recording studio. My older cousins, they were in a band and singing and recording, and I'm like, I rap, and let me see what you got, little cousin, you know what I mean? And
Right.
my cousin was like, man, you is pretty good. Let's develop you. So he started to produce, tracks for me, and gave me my first, real recording experiences. Let me come out and rap on stage with them while they did their top 40 cover band. So I'm out there at the juke joint, you know what I'm saying? And I'm rapping over, the Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. When his little rap part come in, they let me get up there and say my own thing. And they used to play Just Like Candy, by Cameo. And at that time, Tupac had the hit using that track. So that was adaptable for me to rap to.
Right.
So that's where it started, man, running from trouble. It pushed me right into my destiny, and that experience being with them, it made a dream a reality. Like, man, I'm in the studio for real. You know what I mean? And going back home with the demo tapes and, feeling a little notch above everybody else because you niggas still on the karaoke. You know what I'm saying? I on 4 tracks.
I graduated. I recorded because back then it wasn't like go to the homie house and he got Pro Tools and Mbox and little radio. Right? You couldn't just go to anybody's house.
Back then we was on that DAT and reel to reel back then. This is like 96, 95, 96.
Had Pro Tools or the ability to record had like full studios because they were still running it through boards. So that's real talk, man. But your music encompasses more than just partying and street life. You tend to talk about more relatable subjects though, dog. Like you touch on being a father, you touch on being a businessman, you touch on relationships. Is that something that you always saw yourself rapping about, or did you always have? Because I'm not familiar with your earlier work, so was that always present? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe not those dynamics, but what I can say is they always reflected my reality. I always rapped about me, and whether it was a song where you getting off, I got lyrics and, or you rapping about the experiences, that you're going through. Music has always been, kind of an audio diary for me. It's always, I could go back to all my old records and I could hear where I was in my mindset during that time. So, early along, I rapped a lot about breaking bitches and hustling and smoking with the homies and, the shit that I was doing, you know what I mean? And as my life progressed and as my maturity, got maturer, the music just naturally followed because it was always an outlet for my reality. I was never a gimmick rapper. I was never personifying something that I wasn't. So the growth just seemed natural because I was always used to talking about my life and what I was seeing in it.
Right. You've been through some stuff though. It's not like you haven't been through things that you can rap that you can't rap about. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
You got experiences and relatable different scenarios and things in your life that relate to a mass majority of people. So, how did you stick with your grind, with your hustle, man, through all that adversity and those different challenges that happen throughout life?
Like I said, it's just when you pick up that pen, you writing what you know. So it was, you know, for an example, when I got married, that evolved into the Mr. and Mrs. Smith project.
Mm-hmm.
That album included my wife, you know, who was talented,
Mm-hmm.
and and that album, you know, that I was blessed enough to do with her before she passed, it
Mm-hmm.
encompassed content matter relevant to us, you know, being a couple on the mic, and a lot of the stuff that we would speak on was from kind of had a gangster, I mean a gangster gospel kind of feel to
Yeah.
it, because
Yeah.
it was like we was pushing the word, but we was pushing it in a language that was, you know, conceivable by, you know, the club crowd, and so it didn't feel like gospel when we performed it. It just sounded like a whole lot of truth,
Right.
and I think that was just, you know, the evolution of being married and stepping into that process of manhood. It just, it was natural to want to represent with my wife on track. You know what I mean? I don't know what would have happened if she didn't have a love for music or a desire to do it, but that's the life that God gave me.
Right.
The wife that could take this journey with me,
Mm-hmm.
and it made you know, it made things a lot easier, because, you know, in this rap game, we known to be out there and to be hoes, and at least that's what our women think at
Right.
home.
Right. Right.
So to be able to have my
Yeah.
wife there with me,
Mm-hmm.
it killed room for doubt. You don't doubt what I'm out here doing because you're out here doing it with me.
Right.
And I think that, you know, that was just a natural, you know, level up of what life put in front of me. I dealt with it. You know what I mean? We showed the marriage in the music videos. We talked about it. You know, the album project was called Married in the Game. You know what I mean? So, you know, always drew from real life to make these music. It's never been a gimmick, like I said earlier.
I dig that. I really do. I mess with it, man, on a variety of different levels, man. I salute you for it too, because that's a level of, I don't say vulnerability, but maybe transparency that a lot of
That's
cats,
the word.
a lot of cats can't get to or don't want to get to or kind of feel uncomfortable about. You know what I'm saying? Whereas
Right.
you just kind of lean into it and it's natural for you. Actually, I'm not gonna say
Right. It's an outlet.
yeah,
It's a way to be heard. It's a way to be understood. It's, you know, in some situations one might say a cry for help if it's
right,
one of those type of scenarios, but it's just always straight from the heart. It's always straight, you know, from the thought process. You dig? So
okay,
it's
yeah,
it's definitely the reason why. If it weren't for that factor of being vulnerable, transparent, and really bringing real life matter to the content,
mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd have the desire to do music, because I don't. I only still rap is because I still have so much to say, and
And
now
yeah,
it's a greater understanding
yeah,
of what it is that needs to be said. So
yeah,
it's kind of like I can't quit now because God gave me a voice and He gave me a platform.
mm-hmm.
But like we had the conversation, you know, personally the other day, like I'm struggling with this gray beard and feeling old. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I'm too old for this shit. But in reality, you know, it's no age limit on creativity. And as long as the delivery and the senses is there and the beat selection is good,
yeah,
you know, we could do this as long as we want. It's just kind of you know, for rap. And this just came in my mind while saying it,
yeah,
because as we grow into wisdom, our maturity level should go up,
yeah.
and the content that we speak should come out,
Change.
and
Yeah,
it
for
should
sure.
be something
Yeah.
that contributes
Mm-hmm.
a firmness of man, you know, of grownness in the music. And I think maybe that's why they want to put an age limit on it, because they don't want the mature us
Yeah.
speaking to us.
To give
So
game
I
to
want to
the
sit your old
generation.
ass
Yeah.
down.
Younger
You ain't
generation.
talking about popping mollies and riding out on a mission, nigga. We don't want to hear that shit.
Right,
So,
right.
um, you know, with age comes wisdom. Hopefully, if you've put yourself in an environment to learn and grow, it's some 50-year-old babies still out here
Good
acting
talk.
10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, you know, maturity came with age, and it automatically interjected itself into the music that I put out.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Um,
I sound so professional, huh?
cool, man. You doing your job, bro. Nah. Hey, man,
I said
I
that's
was
good.
going through, I was going through Facebook memories. Is something really cool, man, because Facebook memories is like a cold mirror, right? And any
Yeah,
day, a memory will pop up and it kind of give you a reflective moment where you could look at where you was at that time period and if you're doing better or worse, or you take a lot of positive negatives from looking at your memories, right? One popped up for us, man, and it kind of reminded me. It actually pointed to when we first like linked up on Facebook, right?
Okay.
Due to our circle and our proximity, man, we kind of knew a lot of the same people, and the algorithm suggested that we link up, and so I don't know who it was. It doesn't really matter, but we wound up becoming friends on Facebook. Really, is where we connected first, and that was in 2015, dog.
Okay.
And throughout those years, man, you always been consistent with a few things, throwing entertainment events, and then also doing things that support the community in terms of families, right? So like you do an event for families, you do an event for kids that support kids, you do Daddy on Wheels and bring artists out and different things of that nature, man. We're in a game where it's purely about profits, man, and people do like the raunchiest things, whether it be getting strippers or whatever, the craziest stuff to make their party blow up, right? It seemed like kind of created a different lane where you're doing, I don't want to say wholesome, but it's decent events that cater to specific demographics. Let me say that.
Right.
Whether it be families at one point, whether it be kids at another point, whether it just be pure, entertainment at another, right? It's never something that doesn't relate to a certain demographic, and then you're actually facilitating that, man. Talk to me about how you got to like event promotion and promoting and facilitating events and bringing guest artists out and booking stuff like that. Like you went from being a hustler or artist on the grind to facilitating throwing events that supported artists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can you talk about that transition?
Yeah, that transition happened in I want to say 2008. Shout out to the Smith brothers, Larry and Tony. They opened a club in Victorville called Hollywood Entertainment. And at this time, I was the pushing my album real heavy in this area out the trunk, selling the movies. That's when the movie game was popping.
Right.
And I just was a fixture in the community through hustling.
Right.
Through being out there, and everybody knew just, what movies you got, or you got a new album. That was my vibe in the community. Right. And Larry took notice of that, and he said, "Hey man, we got this club. Why don't you come promote for us?" I'm like, "Club promotions? I don't do that." He was like, "Oh," he's like, "But you can." He's like, "You out there? Just take these flyers, pass these flyers out for me while you out there hustling, and here, take some of these tickets. I'll let you eat off the tickets that you sell." You know what I mean? And then I believe it was a DJ Quick show that came up. And he said, "Man, you move some tickets for me. I'll let you get down. I'll let you open up." I'm like, bet. So, they were doing comedy shows and a few hip hop oriented shows. And, I was in the streets with the flyers and, basically the promo game. And, he approached me one day and told me, he said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a night. What you want to do with it?" I'm like, "What you mean?" He was like, "I'm going to give you a night. And that night will be your night. You get the door, I get the bar, and what you gonna put something together."
Right.
And the night that he gave me was a Wednesday, so I created West Coast Wednesdays, and I reached out to all my independent artist friends and folks that I knew at that time. We was heavy on. It wasn't Facebook, but it was MySpace.
Yeah.
And started, DJ King Scratch was my partner that we was doing things together. We had just finished the album together. He did graphic design, doing the flyers. I was getting the artists, and just created a night, in Victorville for the West Coast Independents to come out and do their thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where it started. So it was, how do we make this crack? So of course I'm like, okay. I always felt like if you let somebody eat, they're gonna give you more of their effort. You know what I mean?
Right.
At that time, the pay to play was out there, but it was really just give me this and I'm gonna let you do that, or go sell this and bring me all the money. My thing was, hey, sell these tickets, keep half the money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So all the artists like, oh, you got to put me on. I'm gonna pack it out. Okay, show me. Let's eat together.
Right.
Here go these 20 tickets. You know what I mean? We'll split the money. It's $10. Keep 100. Bring me 100, and
Right.
that worked. You know what I'm saying? And it just that was my first taste of facilitating events, and it's just stayed at it. You know what I mean? And I always wanted to present opportunities that I wish had been presented to myself.
Okay.
If it didn't make sense to the artist in me, I didn't want to present it to another artist. It was like this code of loyalty to the game. Like, if this shit janky to me, I ain't gonna pass on no janky shit to them. So
Right.
I made sure that the things that I wanted to do would have been appealing, to the artist in me, to
Right.
something I would have jumped on. And I see those memories too, bro. And I see like shows pop up, and I see artists that's on flyers, and like, damn, I was putting niggas on way back then, and I wasn't even really in an on position. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I've always thrived off of wanting to network and build opportunities together. I've never been this lone. Unfortunately, I feel like the Lone Ranger sometimes, but that's never been my mindset. That's never been my goal. My goal was always to build and grow with others and understand the power in numbers.
Right.
And if we all got a common goal and we all got a lane to eat, we can win. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, sometimes it's a power struggle, and you have the power that the others want, and you're not even looking at it like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in their eyes, like, fuck that, I ain't making this nigga no. They hating on my 100 that they rather kill their own 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't putting money in this nigga pocket. So, but you go through it and you grow through it. You know what I mean? So I'm still here, boss.
Yeah, no, yeah. You sustain, man, and you've done some dope events, man. Like I said, the Daddy O Will thing with Broad Compton AV, that was dope. You did that a couple times, or a few times rather. It was the second annual or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of shows your dedication, your passion for it, because it ain't like a one and done. It's not like you kind of just skipping through stuff to, hustle up some bread, but you actually trying to
build something that'll last.
Yeah,
something that'll grow. That's always been.
Yeah.
It's not a hit it, quit it, and get out thing.
Right.
I want to brand something that can live beyond my years. Something that, my kids could come into the game and continue doing daddies on wheels in my honor or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And building something that has value. It's about creating something that holds value, so that value can grow and keep moving beyond my own time to push it.
Right. I think. Man. Talk to me about Fathers of Hip Hop, dude. Where'd that come from? When you started, how'd you get the idea, the concept? Let the people know what the purpose and the meaning behind it is, and what some of your immediate goals are for that movement.
When Fathers in Hip Hop, first entered my mind, it came from, a place of testimony, so to speak. My mother and my wife, they passed away back in 2013, 2014, about 11 months apart from one another. And I had, my two daughters, and it was spoken against me that, he can't do this. He can't do these shows. He can't stay active in his career and father two girls. And to be honest, I didn't know, I didn't feel like I could do it, but I had a deeper connection with with my creator, my higher source, my God, whatever other people might refer to him as. But that through him, I could do all things. And, I really just made a choice. I made the right choice. I did the right thing by sticking it out with my daughters and not, sending them away. And so, at certain shows, other men would tell me how respectable that was. And we start having these conversations, and, they pulling out pictures of their kids. And, one that resonates that really took a striking to me was, a conversation backstage with Sugar Free. I wasn't as connected to him as I am now, but at this moment, he let me know that he was connected to me and had been following my story. He was like, "Hey man,
Well,
love what you're doing with them girls. Rest in peace to your mom and your wife." And I'm like, "How this nigga know?" You know what I mean? And he asked him, I'm like, "How you know?" He's like, "Hey man, I've been doing my homework." But it's like he pulled me away from the crowd to have a one-on-one, and he
yeah,
started to speak about his mother, and he started to talk about his children. And then my next situation was with in the studio with Dub C.
mm,
You know, we were talking about some fatherhood stuff, and it just resonated in my mind like, man, these conversations would be so dope,
yeah,
you know, for the world to hear
hmm,
these fathers in hip hop talk, you know what I mean?
right,
About being fathers and family, shit that you don't hear come from that, you know, from that direction too often. So,
right,
you know, my first desire was just to do the fathers in hip hop like a docu film. And we put that together. Shout out to Frank Nitty. He let me use the Gritty Art Studio. And I really wanted to go after those A-list, you know, artists.
right,
And I felt like I needed their influence to make this stick. Um, but you know, when shit ain't popping yet, you know, it's like, that sound cool, but I ain't got time.
yeah,
So I said, okay, God put it on my heart that the subject of fatherhood and that conversation alone was bigger than any of these niggas.
mm,
And I didn't need famous people. I
mm,
just needed fathers. I
mm,
just needed men that were ready and willing to sit down and have this conversation. You know what I mean? So I reached out to some independents, you know, some lesser known, so to speak. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they was with it. And so it brought a, you know, plus a lot of these guys had already looked at me a certain way in the game, like, you know, everybody always think I'm on, like, oh, he on. So it made sense to get with me on it. You know what I mean?
right,
But they believed in it. And so we started filming. And so, you know, after that developed and I brought all these guys, and then I'm like, okay, how do I introduce fathers in hip hop to the hip hop community?
mm,
And my gift set as a show promoter kicked in. Okay, I'm gonna bring these niggas that's rapping to you know, I'm gonna put a show together in the name of fathers. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And we the
right,
fathers in hip hop.
mm-hmm,
And I got us some opening slots. Dub C was performing in Orange County. I think Corrupt was performing in Orange County. I reached out to the promoter and I paid to play. I bought a slot,
mm-hmm,
but it allowed me the opportunity to introduce fathers in hip hop in front of a Dub C crowd, in front of a Corrupt crowd, in front of, you know, the places that we put it. And then I think it got mistaken that it was more about the rap than it was the assignment. And I think a lot of cats kind of got confused, you know, maybe including myself, as to see it was growing. It wasn't like a fully developed plan when I started. It's like you start something and it progresses naturally as God reveals to you the next steps.
right,
So I wanted to create, when you asked me the purpose of it,
yeah,
it really, it didn't have the purpose that it grew into. You know what I mean? It was just a cool way to represent fatherhood and bring notice to men in the game that's taking care of theirs. So,
right,
you know, and then God just showed me other things down the line as to where to take it. And as I started to tap into the true purpose of what God's purpose for it was, it kind of lost its appeal because now I wasn't throwing shows. I was doing community events.
right,
I was, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
it's a different feel, yeah,
now that 15 minutes on stage wasn't there no more. We passing out food and we passing
yeah,
out, you
yeah,
know, so you know, some of the stage attraction, you know, went away and some of my soldiers went away.
right,
Not all the way away, but backed up enough to make me feel on my own. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And but we kept going, and you know, now I, I think we've influenced the market.
mm. I can say that. I can say, I mean, to me, man, I mean, you was doing the Walmart gift card giveaway thing, Blessed in the Mess, and you went on a heavy run, man, and a whole lot of people, a whole lot of fathers and families were positively impacted by that movement, bro. So yeah, in terms of influencing the market, and I seen the power of what was going on when we went out to the Compton Walmart.
That was dope, right?
That was super dope. But what was dope, it was to see the support from legends and established artists and artists of the recent past that were rejuvenated in a sense
Right.
by being recognized or being asked to come out and do this thing that would bless their community that they were from, right? To continue on to do something like that, man, it builds a whole nother perspective and aspect to the game, right? Because it is looked at a certain way online and in the media in terms of West Coast rap, right? They term it gangster rap, like that's all we do. You know what I mean?
Right.
When there's other aspects of it too. I think we cover a lot of real hard portions of life. I think we made it cool to do that. Just West Coast hip hop, period, right? So I don't particularly call it gangster rap. It's just reality. You know what I mean?
It's reality, and that's really and some of our realities is a little more gangster than others because of where we at, because where we're positioned. So, because I could be considered or looked at as a gangster, but I've never gangbanged a day in my life. You know, I never got put on no hood. You know what I'm saying? You know, growing up and moving around it is kind of second nature-ish to say because that's just what the word in my environment was. You know what I mean? And if I did have to bang, it'd probably be Crip, but I never did. I never did. But I still picked up some gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? Along the way, I was around it. And I think on a deeper level of how God chooses people.
Yeah.
I think some of my qualifications that God might have looked at was that I'm like that medium. I'm square, but he got gangster knowledge. I feel like I can reach both sides of the fence. You know what I mean?
That's one thing. I mean, I feel like you outwardly projected that, right, to the community and to the consumer and to the people. And I think I've experienced just the opposite with trying to talk to people that, and I'm not saying you don't do this, but trying to talk to people inside that lifestyle, right? And influence those people. And it's two sides of the spectrum, right? Because you could be super, super gangster, right? But as a human, who really is 100%, always on that. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a time when you get with your family and get with your kids or get with your loved ones, and you just kind of got your guards down and you're enjoying life. So to bring that out and make that cool to talk about and make that cool to show in a video or on camera. Sometimes cats that do that get called weirdos, right? That's just a term we use out here.
You know, Will Smith, soft rap ass nigga.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't super gangster, like we just ready to shoot everything all the time, nigga. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just not the reality of life, right? So I appreciate you for standing on that, man. I appreciate you for holding firm to that honesty and that truthness to your soul and your spirit, bro, because it's not a lot of people that are brave enough to do that. And then be consistent in that, right? Even if you may throw out a party track or you may go super gospel and praiseful, right? The balance of the humanity is still in both of those sides. And both
it's who you are. Is not a persona. It's not trying to fit a certain description to cater to any one audience. It's like real life is real life. Like the shit that we go through every day, we ain't the only ones going through it.
Dig it. Yeah.
So to be able to be a spokesperson for real is, you know, is something that I can't say that I try to do. It's just something that happens because I just be real. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me, man, why you always, because I make reference to the fact that I don't gangbang or that I never been in the hood. I've said it in more than one song. And I was asked why you always got to say you don't bang. I said, nigga, why you always got to say you do?
Right.
Why is it okay for you to represent your gangsterism openly and proudly, and I can't be proud to say, nigga, I ain't never gangbang. What's the difference? And it was kind of one of them blank stares, like, all right, nigga, but you ain't got to say that shit all the time. But maybe it's messing with your mentality.
Right.
That maybe you feel like I'm throwing a shot at you because you did, but I ain't even thinking about you. I'm just thinking about me. I ain't ever gang bang. I ain't saying that it's a bad thing. I'm not going against your gangsterism. I'm
Right.
just letting niggas know that that ain't my cloth. That ain't what I'm cut from.
Right.
So, you know, as well as somebody can be proud of their G-ism, I can be proud of my lack of. You know what I mean?
Now, but wait a minute. In my opinion, Gism ain't gang banging.
I know, but I'm just saying. For a nigga to ask me why I keep saying I don't gang bang, nigga, why do you keep saying you do?
I hear you. Yeah.
Let me rep my non-hood.
Yeah, for sure.
Ain't no hood like fatherhood.
Yeah. No, I dig that. What you got? I know you got a lot of irons in the fire, man. What's next for Justified in terms of events and you know, you being present publicly in the community?
I think my whole agenda right now is something that um, is increasing fatherhood engagement through hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's fathers of hip hop. So we want to put events together that open the door for fathers and families and mothers and everybody to be able to come out and enjoy hip hop in a safe, positive environment.
Mm-hmm.
Being in control of an event, we set the tone.
Right.
We control the atmosphere.
Right.
So with me partnering with guys like B Mike, who knows how to control the atmosphere, it's hard to be mad when you're having fun.
Right.
It's hard to want to trip with a nigga with your babies right there.
Right.
Or it's hard, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we create that atmosphere to really show brothers how fun, you know, being a family man can be. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, because you go to certain events, and I don't knock nothing that nobody does, because everybody can only play their lane. But I'm friends with a lot of these cats, and it's cool because I've been in the game, so I understand it.
Right.
But why? And if the homie get mad, he just wanted to understand, because I'm just nigga, because you ain't the first one to do it, so I ain't talking about you directly.
Right.
But why are we throwing the twerk fest? Why are we throwing all these things that put our, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That really, it's fun. I get it. We turned up.
Right.
But I can't, you know, let's take them resources. Let's take this game and really, and that's not saying they don't do positive in the community. That's not saying that they don't do certain things, but brother, you can't serve two masters.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
And like I said, it ain't not what nobody doing, because nigga get your bag. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, real is real. Like, I got daughters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let one of them little girls come ask me, can they go to the twerk fest? Hell no.
Right.
I get mad when they do their little cheerleading booty dances. Like, what? I told my daughter the other day, I said, you better respect me. Don't do that shit in front of me. She was, you know, and it was a regular little dance, but the little booty was moving too much in front of me. Like, hey, what the fuck you doing? Sit your little ass down somewhere.
Yeah, you don't want your daughter like that. Yeah, I feel you.
So, I mean, like I said, and I'm not knocking it. It's just I made a statement on one of my boys' posts, and it was relevant. He was having dialogue about the Kendrick project.
Okay.
And like I told you, I've only heard 2 of the records so far. The one with the video, and then it's another one that I listened to, We Cry Together, that really hit home on some toxic relationship shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've always said about myself, I make music not to turn you up, but to drop content to grow you up. When are we gonna grow up? Mm-hmm. Let these young kids throw these events that don't know no better. But as grown men, to create environments that only, like I said, it's hard to speak on it without sounding like I'm speaking against it. I'm really not speaking against it. I'm just saying I ain't trying to do that. Right. You asked about what I'm doing with events. I'm trying to bring families together. I'm trying to bring love to the face of what we're doing in the movement. I'm not here to make y'all party. I'm not here to make y'all turn up. I'm here to bring content and events that will shed light on something different. You know what I mean? Something that's not so popular. You know what I mean? Because trust me, Desert Jam Music Festival, we could have went it. We could have went and created any kind of vibe we wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
We could have brought, excuse my language, but we could have brought the bitches.
Mm-hmm.
We could have made did the wet t-shirt. We could have done some worldly things
Right.
to make it attractive, but we chose love and family to be the catalyst of this event. The fact that you ain't got to look for a babysitter, the fact that you can bring the whole your kids is free. So you ain't got to look for a babysitter. You ain't got to spend no extra money on them little guys. It's free. What's your excuse? Come on out, show your kids a good time. Let them see how grown folks function. You know what I'm saying?
And when is that? When is that going down, man? Where can it get to?
You know, that's Memorial Day weekend, May 28th, Lancaster, California, at the American Legion. It's our second year. It's the second annual. When we did it last year, we went into it with the mindset of creating something. It wasn't a one-time thing. Like from the gate, we knew we was coming back for a year two and a year three, and you know, however long we're able to stretch this branding out with the Desert Jam. So last year we didn't open the door to the kids, but they came. We was surprised when it was so many folks showing up with their kids.
Yeah.
But so I can only say it had to have been either one, something about the promoters doing it that people felt comfortable with, or two, just the way that we marketed it in a fun way.
Right.
Because some stuff you can see and be like, oh, nigga, I got to take my heat to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was something that they saw that said, oh,
yeah,
I'm going to take my kids to that. So that opened up the door for this year for us to say, you know what, we wasn't expecting, you know, them people to bring their kids. So this year, let's make it welcoming and inviting to the kids by letting the kids in free. And let's tailor this show around something that will be okay for the kids to be up until 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because after 3 o'clock, you got to let grown folks be grown folks. But what I've noticed is when you experience something better, you kind of start doing better.
Yeah.
Like you have fun, like, oh, I like this. I want to do more events like this. I want to be in more atmospheres like this. I need to make, because you'll start feeling you. I hope if you have a conscience and you a woman and you at a concert with some little kids, I hope you feel uncomfortable talking about popping your pussy.
Right.
I hope that makes you say, damn, I need to get some new songs for this type of audience. You know what I'm saying? I hope you can leave from this experience, you know, and inspired to change a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Diversity, you know what I mean? For sure.
So, you know, because it's just a natural thing that when you get around kids and elders, your behavior is supposed to alter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's get used to being around the kids. Let's get used to being around the elders. Let's used to, you know, operating in love where niggas don't feel like they got to come out with the strap.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Atmosphere where that's possible and everybody feel comfortable. That's most important, man. You've been most gracious with setting that up too for the family. So I know it's gonna be a dope event.
Getting some good traction on it, man. Some good feedback.
Yeah.
And it's positive, man. We just want to be in the world, but not necessarily of it.
Right. Right.
And that dives into another conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, that's good. That I know we could get deep on that one, you and I together, man. I know your faith has been a huge part of your journey.
The fuel.
Yeah, you've incorporated in your music to a degree where I don't want to call it Christian rap because it's not. I'm not saying it's not like negatively. I'm saying it's not because you ran with and have songs with like people like The Chill from CMW and Blue Flame Mega and notable West Coast independent artists and veteran artists as well, E40 and sugar free, right? But then you also have tracks that talk about, like I said, we talked about earlier, like fatherhood, parenting, single father through the tragedy of wife's passing, and then also maintaining that, man. So you do this random live too. I've always felt like you should schedule it and make it like a TV show on Facebook, man. But you go live random, man, and you cook a meal and you talk to the people. But your daughters are often in the kitchen or involved in some type of way, man.
Right.
I think that's a dope look, right? Like, because when I see things like that, I try to visualize the commercial side of it, like how you can monetize it, man. So I'm always thinking in that aspect. But talk to me about that, man. You a chef in the kitchen? You can cook, huh?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do when you got them babies to feed. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I had a father that cooked. I can't
Yeah.
say he did it on the the interaction level with me, but just truth be told, when my wife passed, that put me in that role to where I'm used to getting the plate, brought to the room. Babe, here's your plate. So damn, what these kids gonna eat? You know what I mean?
Right.
And going live, and this goes back, a few years back to when they was little. And they were more so, helpers with getting stuff. They wasn't in there. So to see it now, these 8 years later, to where they in there cooking too, and know how to get down is just. I always thought that me and my daughters, should have had, some type of, reality scenario. Just because the time together, it it feel good. You know what I mean? And it make others. I know, like I said, I try not to say certain things where people think I think I'm that or whatever, but I saw an increase in other men starting to cook on their lives. I can't say I'm the only nigga they seen do it, but I feel like I influenced a lot of Facebook chefs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, a lot of times you look and you see other people doing things, you're like, oh, that's working for them, so let me do it too. You know what I mean?
Right.
But and I don't say that in a jealous or negative way. I say that we have the power to inspire and influence people.
Right.
So when you put out positive things, you're influencing positive behavior, and the followers of this world will follow what they see. So it's our responsibility to be mindful of what we're putting out there. Because I could go live doing a whole lot of other things. I could be the negative podcast. I could be the shit talking, but I'd rather bring that family, thing, and it was something to do. But I really feel like, that father's in the kitchen, it could be something very marketable. It's just I think everything is about seeds being planted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We planted a seed doing that, and where will it go? I don't know, but it's definitely, one of them bullets in the clip. When it's gonna get shot, I don't know, but it's gonna come out soon enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, shoot. To me, you pushing it, man, and I'm looking forward to more content, more music though from you.
Yeah, I got some
like
stuff.
how you tell your story. You know what I mean? You got some more stuff, huh?
Yeah, I got some music in the cut.
What's next, man? What's next? Talk to me.
I just really want my next musical drop, and I think it's coming. I think around Father's Day I'm going to drop a single or two.
Okay.
But it's really encompassing the message in the music. You know what I mean?
Right.
And presenting fatherhood from different angles, because there's different aspects of it that affect, so to be able to rap about it in a way that's pleasing to the ears is dope to me, because it's like I listen to it, and I only write when I'm inspired to. Like, it'll be something that I gotta write, and that message will come out. So it's like I'm not just writing to be writing. I'm not just making music to rush projects. And it's like the message come from God, or is it like in a moment for me to create?
Right.
And I think listening to this Kendrick record, it definitely increased my confidence.
Yeah. Open up that conversation where you could be
bringing it to the game, where we can be transparent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I've been that. And my lyric style is not like Kendrick, but I've been covering some of these same topics, for a long time. So for a mainstream, identity like that to come with something so truthful and so meaningful is dope. I think it's. I said to myself, if you're a real artist and you really want to put this out, the messages out that K-Dot should have you rethinking your content.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's saying what's not popular.
Right.
But it needs to be said. It's necessary.
Right.
So hopefully we can stop being so caught up with following the Joneses and trying to do what the next nigga doing and do what this nigga doing and bring some music. And like I said, I haven't heard the whole album, but just from them 2 songs, and I know Kate, I kind of know what he's capable of. So it makes me want to go, listen to more of it to see and to be inspired. I've heard a lot of people downplay the production, but really, what I've heard, it sounds like the soundtrack to life, baby.
Soundtrack,
the real. He ain't trying to make you go up. He trying to make you grow up.
Yeah, he's trying to make you think, man. It's an introspective project. Now, there's some bangers on there though. Like even if the beats are different, they still go. You know what I'm saying? But this is definitely not a party album. Like there might be some joints that go top 10 and even go number 1. Like he got a joint on there with Blast that's really really dope. I think that's a big record. But these aren't thug on the corner gang banging type records. This is like nigga, do you hear what I'm saying type shit. You know what I mean? So
some old Andre 3000.
Type shit. Dope, man. To me, the beats are dope as a producer.
Yeah. Because you're a producer, you know music, and it's the musical arrangement. It's music. It has soul to it. Music has the ability to change your mood. It has the ability to create, a space.
Yeah.
And from the few joints that I've heard, the music definitely sets the tone to open up the message that's coming through. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like when you watching a karate flick, they play that Chinese shit so you can embrace the Chinese experience.
Right. That's the whole culture. The whole part of the culture, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he gave you some grown folk production for that grown folk message to seep through. So like I said, I've only heard 2 to 3 joints off of it, and I want to hear more. I want to listen to more, and I want to be inspired by it. I pulled up a demo track today and was like, I had K-Dot flow on my mind, not to sound like him, but to speak on things that he was speaking on. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've been doing that, so it's not new, but it's like, I'm excited because now if we're going to strike, let's strike now. K-Dot got him open.
We need more voices.
Niggas listening for a minute.
Yeah, we need more voices. We got to balance this game out, man. It's more than just one type of lifestyle that's involved in hip hop, man. We should be talking to all those aspects.
I can't tell who these other niggas is because they all sound the same. I be asking my daughter, who that? Oh, that's baby such and such. That's little whoopty whoop. I'm like, well, that sound like the last nigga. I thought these last 2 songs the radio played was the same nigga.
They got a similar pocket for sure, man. That rhythm flow, But
ain't nothing wrong with it. They're expressing themselves, but
I think we're gonna win by being original and individual in our sound like we were in the past.
Well, you got to understand that it's a machine behind it now.
Sure, yeah, you ain't hitting radio.
And that machine has an agenda. And the shit that's going on with Young Thug and all these other niggas is a part of that agenda.
For sure, yeah.
They control the airwaves.
Yeah.
Will these? Now I've been listening to. I only listen to the radio when I take my kids to school and when I pick them up. Usually when I'm in the car.
Right.
But I ain't heard the Kendrick on the radio.
Kendrick ain't hit the radio yet. It might.
I mean, I ain't saying that he haven't. I'm saying
that blast record might hit. That blast record might hit before anything though.
But I'm saying, what about the one with the video with all the with the facial changes? Like
J Head probably gonna have to break that joint, but I don't think that's gonna be a joint that's in rotation That Blast record gonna be in rotation though.
We have to ask ourselves why.
Yeah, yeah.
Why won't they play stuff that empowers us?
Yeah.
They only play stuff that's gonna lead us. You know, hey, the song is catchy. I done heard it so many times on the radio. I don't know who the nigga is to sing it, but like this rap shit is so simple. This nigga say, "I know I'm fine, but the money make me handsomer." I'm like, nigga, if you don't shut your retarded ass up, but it got a cool little beat. And now I found myself, because it's being programmed to be acceptable. It's like I hear that shit every time I turn the radio on. Every time I'm taking the kids to school, that song come on, and that the GLAMOROUS feather.
I haven't even listened to. I ain't on listen to radio, so
I'll be listening to the DD in the morning show when I be taking my kids to school, and that's the shit I be hearing.
Yeah.
But when they gonna bring some of this message to the radio?
Yeah.
Unless we create our own platforms, unless we get in these positions to create, they're going to keep the truth at a minimum.
For sure.
You know what I mean? There's an agenda, brother. You know what I'm saying? Why fathers in hip hop ain't been scooped up? Because I know they see it. Can't tell me they don't see it. But this is endangering to their agenda.
Right.
This is anti their goal. You know what I mean? Right. They don't want us to have this type of knowledge. They don't want us to tap in to this mindset of fatherhood.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they'll sprinkle it here and there, but they not ready for fathers around the world to wake up and claim their true positions in the home and in the community. Because once that happens,
they can't come in there and mess around no more.
They can't. You kill the head, the body must follow. We can't let them father. If the fathers start standing up, how we gonna get their babies?
Right.
We gotta keep these niggas in jail and dead.
Yep.
Because if this black father starts to really show his God-given authority in this world, bro, some shit gonna get shook up.
For sure.
So we just shake as much as we can and hope we break through. You know what I mean? And
right.
And win as many wars as we can.
Yeah, no, I dig that. Hey man, we're gonna wrap up, bro. It's been an honor and a pleasure speaking with you, dude, and I appreciate you taking this hour out with me, man. Before we go though, I need two things from you, bro. First, let the people know where they can find you on social media and all the platforms and all that good stuff.
For the brand, everything is Fathers in Hip Hop. Instagram is Fathers in Hip Hop. Facebook is Fathers in Hip Hop. For more of the music and the man behind Fathers in Hip Hop, Instagram is Justified_Smith, and on Facebook is Just Smith. And that's pretty much. Twitter is Fathers in Hip Hop. I don't really tweet like that. I need to get me a social media consultant to take over my social media, but yeah, Facebook is where you can find me most. Instagram is, we're active there as well. And we plan on stepping it up on all platforms though. But everything Fathers in Hip Hop, fathersinhiphop.com. Yeah, I think we've earned some Googleable status. I think if you type in Fathers in Hip Hop, all roads will be justified.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm Googleable.
Can I get a drop for westcoaststyles.com from you, man?
What up, it's your boy Justified. Tap into that westcoaststyles.com. Shout out to Don Dubb. They keeping everything west.
Hey man, I appreciate you, big dog, man. It's been a pleasure.
Another one like through my phone when I'm shaved, and you know what I'm saying, maybe my handsomeness, but the Fathers in Hip Hop make me handsomer. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we could dog folks in.
You gotta stay ready, bro. You gotta stay ready.
I'm about to cut this off, bro. I'm about to go back to the goatee, man, because
all right, man.
This shit gonna knock about 15 years off, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to get out.
Nah, leave the beard on, man. Leave the beard on. I'm rocking the goatee, so you gotta rock the beard, bro.
It only look good with the hat. See, when I take my hat off, now it's like, ooh, who's that nigga? Hey, the beard look good with the hat. I ain't gonna lie, nigga. I was like, should I wear my hat on the interview or not? Right. Nah, the hat make the beard look right. Yeah, take it off. It's like, who's that nigga? I'm gonna keep my hat on.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna holler at you, big dog.
Appreciate the conversation, homie, and you giving me a value to the content. I appreciate you, big dog.
For sure, man. I'll talk to you.
West Coast.
All right, man. Peace.
Bang.